Hello students, a warm welcome to all of you in Idealize Academy and also welcome to all in our 3 months online certification course on topic nanobiotechnology. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the nanotoxicity. Okay, so we start today's lecture. We start today's lecture with the introduction part. Okay, First we understand what is a nanotoxicity. Nanotoxicity is a type of toxicity which caused by the nanoparticle. Whenever toxicity is caused by the nanoparticle, then this toxicity is known as a nanotoxicity. Okay, nanotoxicity refers to the potential toxic effect that nanoparticle. These nanoparticles are tiny in size and the range of nanoparticle 1 to 100 nanometer. Tiny particles measure between a 1 and 100 nanometer in size can have on living organisms, human health, and environment. These nanoparticles plays a most important role in a field of life science. But these nanoparticles also show their toxic effect on living organisms, on environment, or on human health. Okay, these nanoparticles used in wide range of industries from medicine in a form of nanomedicines, electronics to food and customs. But due to their small size, like large surface area and unique chemical property, they behave differently than the bulky material. What is a nanotoxicity? Nanotoxicity refers to the potential harmful effect that nanoparticle can have on living organisms and in the environment or human health. Okay, and the size of this nanoparticle is 1 to 100 nanometer. Okay, why these nanoparticles plays a most important role and have a lots of application in a field of in different sector? Because of their small size, high surface area, and unique properties. Okay, now we discuss the mechanism of toxicity. First, cellular toxicity. Nanoparticles can easily penetrate the cell membrane and also accumulated in the cell. Suppose this is a cell and this is a nanoparticle. Then this nanoparticle can easily penetrate in this cell and accumulated in this cell. Okay. Due to the accumulation of nanoparticles in this cell, then it will cause oxidation stress, inflammation, and apoptosis or necrosis. Okay, next, genotoxicity. Certain nanoparticles may damage the DNA, leading to mutation and increasing the risk of cancer. Okay, there are lots of nanoparticles are available which damage the DNA. Due to the damage of DNA, due to damage in the DNA or mutation in the DNA, it will cause cancer. Okay, next, immune system impact. Nanoparticle trigger the immune response. It will lead the inflammation, allergy, and other immune-related problems. Next, organ toxicity. Nanoparticles can accumulate in specific organs such as liver, lungs, kidney, and brain. Okay, and cause okay. These nanoparticles accumulated in these organs such as liver, lungs, kidney, brains and cause the damage to the tissues and impairing organ function. Okay, these nanoparticles first damage the tissues of this organ and impairing the organ functions. Okay, next, ecotoxicity. These nanoparticles released in the environment can affect the ecosystem, particularly aquatic life, leading to disruption in biological processes. Okay, whenever these nanoparticles release into the environment, it will also affect the ecosystem, especially aquatic ecosystem. It will affect the these are the mechanism by which nanotoxicity will cause in different in living organisms, environment and humans. Now we discuss the absorption, translocation, distribution of nanoparticles in vivo. First, absorption. Okay, these nanoparticles absorb in human body through different route. First, absorption. These nanoparticles enter in human body through different or various route such as inhalation, injection, dermal contact, intravenous injection. First, we discuss the absorption. First, mechanisms. These nanoparticles enter in our body through different or various path or route such as inhalation, injection, dermal contact or intravenous injections. These are the way or route by which these nanoparticles enter in our body. Okay, they also their absorption depend on the physiochemical properties. Okay, the absorption of nanoparticles is completely depend upon the physiological property of the nanoparticles, and these physiological property may be size, shape and surface charge and coating. Now we discuss the factor affecting the absorption. Small nanoparticles are generally more rapidly absorbed in our body. The surface modification of nanoparticles can directly impact on cellular uptake. The small size nanoparticles are generally uptake by the human body. The surface modification of the nanoparticles is also impact on the cellular absorption of nanoparticles. These are the factors which affect the mechanism of absorption of nanoparticles. Now we discuss the translocation. Translocation, first movement within the body. After the absorption, nanoparticles may translocate on different organs. Okay, they can enter the systemic circulation, cross biological barriers, and accumulated in certain organs. And these organs may be lungs, liver, spleen, and kidney. These nanoparticles can easily cross the biological barrier. Okay, and enter the circulatory system of our body and also accumulated in different organs, and these organs may be lungs, maybe liver, maybe spleen and maybe kidney. Now we discuss the mechanism of translocation. Okay, lymphatic system. and blood circulation system are the primary route for the translocation of nanoparticles. The route taken often depend on the nanoparticles characterizations or initially exposure route. For example, inhalation nanoparticles. For example, whenever we inhalate the nanoparticle, it might be translocated through the alveolar macrophage into the blood. First, nanoparticles absorb in our body, then it will translocate translocate in different organs. This translocation is depend on the route by which these nanoparticles enter in our body. Now we discuss the distribution, organ specificity and accumulation. Okay, nanoparticles distribute differently based on their surface chemistry and affinity of certain tissues. Okay, there the distribution of nanoparticle is completely based on the surface chemistry and surface chemistry of nanoparticle or affinity for certain tissues. For example, hydrophilic nanoparticle might have limited tissue penetration. Okay, whereas hydrophobic one may accumulated more in organ rich in lipids. Now, suppose this is a nanoparticles and this nanoparticle is hydrophilic in nature. Due to this hydrophilic nature, these nanoparticles limited the tissue penetration. Okay, rather than the hydrophilic nanoparticles. Okay, now our nanoparticle is hydrophobic. Then this hydrophobic nanoparticles accumulate in lipid rich organs. Such this, suppose this is a organ, this is a organ. This organ is a lipid rich. Then this hydrophobic nanoparticle is easily penetrate in this organ system or organ and accumulated in this organ. Next, biological implementation. Distribution influence both efficacy and toxicity of nanoparticles. For example, those nanoparticles which are designed to perform a target drug delivery, then these nanoparticles deliver the drug to the specific tissues or organs. Whereas unintended nanoparticle accumulated in the organs and cause toxicity. Now we discuss the physiochemical characterization of nanoparticles, determine their toxic potential. First, size and surface area. The size of nanoparticle in a range of 1 to 100 nanometer. The size of nanoparticles is very small. Okay, these smaller nanoparticles have a large surface area to volume ratio. Have large surface area to volume ratio. Due to the large surface area to volume ratio, it will increase the reactivity of nanoparticles. Okay, due to the high reactivity can lead to the oxidative stress in the cells, potential to damage the cellular components such as protein, lipid, and DNA. Now we discuss the shape. The shape of nanoparticles such as spherical, rod, and sheet. Okay, these shape of the nanoparticles is also influence how they internalized by cell and how they travel within a biological system. The shape of the nanoparticle influences the translocation of nanoparticle within a human body or biological system. Okay, for example, rod-shaped nanoparticles might be harder for cell engulf potential, causing a different stress response. Okay, next, surface charge. Surface charge plays a crucial role in interaction the cellular membranes, which are typically negatively charged. Positively charged nanoparticles may have stronger interaction with cell membrane and increasing the chances of cellular uptake. Okay, next, surface chemistry and functionalization. Functional group or coating add on the nanoparticle can modify their stability, solubility, and interaction with the biological molecules. Functionalization can either enhance the compatibility with biological system, reduce the toxicity, conventionally increasing the reactivity potential leading to adverse reactions. Now we discuss the target organs and toxical effect of nanoparticle. First, lungs. Exposure route is inhalation. This is a primary route for airborne nanoparticles. Okay, now we discuss the toxic effect of nanoparticle on lungs. Nanoparticle can induce the oxidative stress, inflammation, and fibrosis in lungs tissues. Okay, long-term exposure may result in chronic obstructive long-term exposure may result in chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, asthma, even lungs cancer. Okay, and the example of nanoparticles. Okay, due to the exposure of nanoparticle on lungs, it will cause chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, asthma, and lung cancer. Okay, now we discuss the example of nanoparticle which will enter in our body through the inhalation process. And the example of these nanoparticles: carbon-based nanoparticles, metal oxide, and silica nanoparticles. These nanoparticles are responsible for the toxicity in lungs. Okay, in lungs. Now, liver. Exposure route is injection and systemic circulation. Okay, toxic effect. The liver plays a key role in detoxification and often accumulated the nanoparticle following exposure. Toxic effect include the hepatotoxicity, liver enzyme alteration, inflammation, and cellular apoptosis. Okay, now we discuss the nanoparticle which will cause the toxic effect on livers. First, metallic nanoparticles such as silver and gold. Next, quantum dots. These quantum dots, silver and nanoparticles, have a potential to accumulate in our liver and cause a toxic effect on liver functioning. Okay. Next, kidney. Exposure route, systemic circulation, and intravenous exposure. Okay. Toxic effect. Due to their role in filtration blood, kidney can accumulate the nanoparticle, leading to nephrotoxicity, inflammation, oxidative stress, and glomerular glomerular damage. Okay, first nephrotoxicity, next inflammation, oxidative stress, and glomerular damage. Now we discuss the example of nanoparticles, and the example of nanoparticle is silver. Silver nanoparticles Silver nanoparticle cause the toxicity in renal tissues. Okay, next, brain and central nervous system. Exposure route is inhalation. Okay, or systemic circulation cross. And next we discuss the brain and central nervous system. Exposure route, inhalation, or systemic circulation crossing the blood-brain barriers. Toxic effect. Nanoparticles such as metal oxide. In metal oxide, especially titanium dioxide. And next nanoparticle is carbon nanotubes. These both nanoparticles may these both nanoparticles easily penetrate or cross the blood-brain barrier and cause the neuroinflammation, oxidative stress, and neurodegenerative disorders. Okay, next cardiovascular system. Exposure route, systemic circulation. Okay, toxic effect. Nanoparticle can enter in the bloodstream and interact with blood and vessels wall, promoting the oxidative stress, inflammation. It will increases the risk of atherosclerosis, blood clotting, hypertension, etc. Carbon nanotubes and metal oxides. These are the nanoparticles which cause the toxic effect on circular system or cardiovascular system. Next, skin. Exposure route, dermal exposure. Okay, toxic effect. Some nanoparticles can penetrate the outer layer of skin, especially if the skin is damaged. Okay, and potential effect includes the local irritation, inflammation, possible systemic exposure. Okay, titanium dioxide and zinc oxide nanoparticle present in a sunscreen. Okay, and these nanoparticles are studied to cause a dermal nanotoxicity. Okay, next, reproductive system. Exposure, systemic circulation. Toxic effect. Nanoparticles have shown potential reproductive toxicity, included the effect on sperm quality, hormonal disruption, and embryo development. Silver nanoparticles and some metal oxide has been studied in the relation of reproductive toxicity. Translocation and distribution route of nanoparticles in our body. Intravenous injection. Next, dermal exposure, oral uptake, inhalation uptake, and ocular uptake. Intravenous injection directly affect the circular system. Dermal exposure first affect the lymphatic system, then circulation system. Oral uptake first gastrointestinal tract or lymphatic system or directly into the circular system. Inhalation, it will follow three paths. First, gastrointestinal tract, respiratory tract, and nasal cavity. Ocular exposure, nasal cavity, brain. Okay, and then this will affect or cause the toxicity in different organs. This is the distribution and translocation route of nanoparticle in our body. Factor affecting the nanotoxicity. First, size and shape. Next, surface charge and composition. Next, dosage and exposure route. We already discussed this route in our previous slide in detail. Now we discuss the health risk. First, inhalation, injection, skin contact. Okay. Inhalation, nanoparticle can reach in lungs, enter into the blood stream, and potential to lead the respiratory problems, inflammation, and cardiovascular. If injections, nanoparticles may pass through the gastrointestinal tract and affect the internal organs, lead to potential toxic effect on liver, kidney, and intestines. Okay, skin contact. Some nanoparticles may penetrate the skin, although the risk here generally less understood. Okay, some studies suggest that certain nanoparticle could cause the skin irritation or other health issues. Environmental impact. Nanoparticles may also accumulate into the environment and cause their toxic effect on wildlife, plant, and aquatic organisms. It will also affect the different ecosystems. Okay, especially aquatic ecosystem. These nanoparticles directly affect the aquatic ecosystem and cause their toxic. Next, environment impact. Nanoparticles may also accumulate into the environment where they could have a toxic effect on wildlife, plants, and aquatic organisms. Okay, these nanoparticles accumulate into the environment and also affect the different ecosystem. Okay, their small size and high reactivity. Okay. Their small size and high reactivity may cause unforeseen environment damage if they are accumulated in large amount. Okay, these are the toxic effect of nanoparticles. This is all about today's lecture. This is all about the toxic effect of nanoparticles on environment and human health. Okay, this is all about today's lecture. Please follow ITLS Academy on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and also get it on Google Play Store. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe ITLS Academy. Thank you.